Okay, everybody, we've now arrived to creating our final assessments. And you will be using this document to try to help you develop your assessments so then you can then share it out in the slideshow that we have here. So let's stick with this document here just to start off. The first thing you probably can do is just take out a piece of paper and a pencil, and we're in the brainstorm stage. There could be lots of different ways you might want to do this, and it's a good way to start thinking of different ways you might want to develop your assessments. So the first thing you're going to do once you have that out is develop your own understanding of the standard. Do you really understand what the standard's all about? There's a lot of standards in there, and you might have chosen a challenging one. So I give you some resources here. You could check out Khan Academy, watch a video, better understand the standard and how to and what the topic's all about. Or you can go to Math is Fun. I like to go there. There's good quizzes at the bottom of each one so that you can have a look there. And then I also give you a resource here just if you want to start looking at maybe what other assessments might look like. That other teachers are giving, and there are most grade levels there, if not all, so you can have a look there. So the next thing you'll be doing is you'll be thinking about procedural fluency. Are there different ways to achieve this standard, or different ways that you could go about solving a problem that are related to the standard? So maybe think about some different ways that students could show their procedural fluency. Is there just one way for procedural fluency to be done for that standard or for that topic? And then what you'll be doing is you'll be thinking about that procedural fluency, and not just about how to do it, but why it works. How could you get students to explain their reasoning, which moves on to conceptual understanding? How could students show a conceptual understanding of the subject or topic? What are some different ways students could explain or communicate their reasoning, or how could they prove why the procedure works? Okay, so then you'll be moving on to making sure that you connect a math practice to this assessment. Math practices are really important. They are the one thing that is definitely the same throughout the year. So you might have already decided on this from the last Flipgrid video, but if you haven't yet, you could take a look at what real math practice is going to be able to be embedded into your assessment here. And then lastly, we will talk about how can we now apply the learning that's been happening within the standard through a performance task. We'll be using something called a GRASP. A GRASP is an easy way to try and give students a goal, a situation, a role, and apply that standard to a real situation. So let's really quickly look at what a GRASP is. It's an easy way to remember, of course. G stands for goal, R role, A audience, S situation, P products. I'm going to skip the standards just because we already have the standards there and we know what we're assessing. So it's nice that you establish a goal first, because it's not just a goal. It's some kind of problem or challenge or obstacle that we have to overcome. And then that student will be taking a role. So maybe the problem is a construction site or being a cook or whatever, and they're going to take on that role of the cook. And then who's the audience? Is it going to be the people that are eating the food, or is it going to be a restaurant that you're selling a cookbook to? And then you have a situation, and then finally the product that students will then deliver. And then there's different sentence starters in this one as well. And if we go back, I have a short video about it. It's really short. It's only a minute and a half. It's just really explaining it. And then I also have examples of what it could look like so you can better understand what it is. And I actually made a video about 7 years ago that popped up when I was looking through different resources that I did for my math department when I was the head of the math department in Thailand. And yeah, it's about 10 minutes long, so you might want to watch the whole thing. But check out minute 7, and that talks about performance tasks and GRASP. All right, so then we'll be moving on to sharing your assessments and on the Google Slides. You'll notice that it's very similar, except it's a little bit different because I have the standard at the top. I have a way for you to show your procedural fluency here. And you don't have to type this in because sometimes math is hard to type in. So you could just insert a picture here of you writing it in your notebook, and then conceptual understanding. Come up with a question with one way to answer it. And I like to say one way because it's not the one way you're going to assess students, but it's one way that the question could be answered. So here's going to be a procedural fluency question. Here will be a conceptual understanding question. And then you're going to be talking about the practice that could be assessed for the standard as well down here really quickly. Next slide is going to be about the GRASP. So you can then insert the goal, your role, the audience, the situation, and the product that you'll be doing in this performance task, or the way that you're going to have students show their capacity to apply the standard. I still have some resources over here if you need help with what a GRASP is. And then I just figured we're on Google Slides, so insert an image here, maybe a compelling or perplexing image that could be a highlighted image that you show for this assessment. And then finally, pull up the presenter notes and let me know how all of this ties to your philosophy. That's what I have here in yellow. How does all of these assessment ideas align to your philosophy of teaching and learning mathematics? Now, I really do want to be able to have everyone be creative, so you might have already thought of this amazing way to apply this standard, and GRASP just isn't working for you. So I do have this thing here in pink saying, if GRASP hinders your creativity, just let me know if you have another idea, and of course you can do that. So then when you're done with that, try to find another slide that somebody else has not commented on, and give them some feedback. Let them know how this has helped you with your thinking or build on their thinking. So have fun with this, and I hope in the end we're just really proud of the assessments we're making as they are engaging and meaningful for our students. Thanks.